Welcome to the SPD Business Language Proficiency Program, Module 3, Verbal Communication and Public Speaking, subtitled Speak Clearly, Present Powerfully. What are the learning objectives of this module? One is to learn to speak with confidence in professional settings. Confidence is a key word. You are all professionals and you all speak and present in your professional settings. The key to being able to do this is confidence. If you know the subject matter, you can be confident. But you can also know the subject matter without being confident. You may be afraid of your bosses. You may be afraid of those who know much more than you. But today, you are charged with the responsibility of making that presentation. So you need confidence. It's always a requirement. 2, to learn to structure and deliver impactful presentations. The structure is important. You want to know what the structure of a presentation is? We'll see that. If you get the structure right, you would learn how to present in each part of the structure of your presentation. Then the delivery will follow from that. 3, to learn how to handle question and answer sessions effectively. If you are making a presentation in professional settings, there would be questions and you have to provide answers. It is not the king speaking from the throne who must not be questioned. You are before your peers and you are before your bosses. So questions must be asked. And some people may be waiting for you, as a matter of fact, in question and answers, to know whether you really know what you're talking about or you are just a pretender. So learn how to handle the question and answer sessions effectively. 4, to learn to enhance verbal delivery and presence. Show your presence. Show that you are there. You are in the eye of the storm and you must show up. If you cannot show up, then you are to be ignored. So you must learn to enhance your delivery and how to show that you are really there. What is verbal communication? Aside the topic, which presumably you are on top of, there are other things you need to take care of in verbal communication that contribute to the success of verbal communication. 1, the tone. 2, clarity. 3, the structure. And 4, confidence. All these 4 combine for effective verbal communication. We communicate through spoken words. In other words, you have to open your mouth. You have to let your brain speak through your mouth. And you have to speak through your mouth using words that bear meaning, that speak to the people you want to reach. It involves the tone. It involves clarity. It involves pace, meaning how you pace your delivery, how you pace your words, how you pace your statements, how you pace each chunk of information you want to deliver, and how you articulate your words to be impactful. Verbal communication influences how messages are received. If you put all of these four things together, using spoken words, you can be sure that your message will hit home, will be well received. And don't be afraid that people might ask questions. Yes, of course, there are occasions where people are waiting for you to do you in with very difficult questions. But that's part of what verbal communication is about. If you are well prepared ahead, you will not be afraid of such occurrences. What are the elements of confident speaking? Make eye contact. Eye contact means make your eyes look into the eyes of the people you are talking to. It's a group of people, so you want to look at each and every one of them. There are ways of doing this. Even if there are hundreds in a room, by looking in one particular direction, you are looking in the eyes of people in that particular direction. What do you do when you are behind the camera? If you are a presenter in a studio, or if you are an artist brought into the studio, how do you maintain eye contact? You maintain eye contact by looking directly at the camera. When you look directly at the camera, you are looking at the eyes of everyone watching. And that's what you do in a crowd as well. Just look in a particular direction and everybody thinks you are looking right into their own eyes. So maintain eye contact. If there are just a few people, look at each one from time to time to be sure you are sending a message. I know you are there. I want to speak to you. I know what's going on in your head, even though you don't know. But that's what message you are sending. And I want to tell you, this is the message I want to pass on. And I want you to receive it. So eye contact is very important. If you are looking above everybody all through your presentation, they sense something. he's afraid or she's afraid. And therefore, I'll catch her, I'll catch him. But if you look directly into their eyes, that means this guy is not afraid of us. Perhaps he knows what's going on. We have to be careful here. He may even ask us a question, and we must not fail to answer correctly. So, eye contact is very important. Controlled tone and pace. You are in charge. You can always set the tone. Get the pitch right. Lower the pitch. Raise it back. Come down again a little bit. Come down lower. In terms of pace, even clearly speaking, not rushing through your words. If you rush through a sentence, pause for a second or two and move on to the next. That's what we mean by controlling the pace. Body language and posture. That's very important. If you adopt a body language of somebody who is dejected, of somebody who is afraid, of somebody who is unsure of themselves, you're sending a message. And the people who catch that message, they think you don't know. They think you are not confident. And therefore, for anyone who wants to do you in, that's the opportunity. They are waiting for the moment to go for the kill. And you presented them with that opportunity because of the body language you manifest. So, body language is important. If you come on stage, has anybody watched the television in the news and you watch somebody like President Trump? President Trump is all about bravado. Many journalists have punched him, not physically, with their questions. They know he doesn't know so much, but he comes across like somebody who knows everything, who can bring everything down. And when you wait and give it to him, he starts to blab. But the first thing is, he accosts you with his presence. And that is important. Now, for somebody who knows, and you assume that kind of posture, you know when they come at you, you give it back to them. So that's what this is about. Then, pauses and emphasis. Those pauses are important. At critical points, you just hold your breath. Hold what you want to say next for a second and then come out with it. That means you are exercising control over what you are saying. You are exercising control over those who are listening to you. You are exercising control over the whole space, over the whole subject of your presentation. And that is useful when you are making a presentation. For emphasis, you can repeat certain things you said before. Don't make it a habit. If it becomes a habit, then it's no use. You've lost that control. But at occasional points, you come back and say, I said this. People will take note of it. That means that word or that statement is important. Then clarity of message, either in writing or in speaking, clarity is number one. If your message is not clear, you've just wasted efforts. You've wasted all that control. You've wasted all that eye contact. You've wasted the pace. You've wasted your body language and your posture. Your message must be very clear, and that is important. Well, in verbal communication, there are common speaking challenges. Some people have many challenges. Some people have just a few. People who are practiced have overcome many of these common challenges. The first one is being nervous. When you are nervous, you can stand erect, you can adopt the kind of posture that gives you control. Your hands might be shaking or sweaty. You are unable to make eye contact when you are nervous. And then you begin to use filler words. Some people who are not necessarily nervous develop the habit of using too many filler words when they were nervous, and they never overcome the nervousness in using filler words. And people pay attention to these things. What are filler words? You know what I'm talking about. Um, you know, are you following me? Are you with me? Things like that. Before you say one sentence, you use or uh or are you with me? And things like that. Those are filler words. They could be very useful at occasions when you use them too many times in your presentation. They show that you are either nervous or unsure of your facts. So try and get rid of filler words, too many of them. Overcome your nervousness. And one can understand when some people are nervous. They say, come and make a presentation on a subject, and you know in the gathering there are experts. And you are not even an expert yet, but you are aspiring to be one. So you are a little bit shifty on your legs. If I say this, they might say that. Forget about that. Know your facts. Come on and present. Let them say what they want to say. But if you show sufficient confidence, they will begin to understand that this guy is not a pushover. Some people have a habit of speaking too fast, or they naturally adopt a soft tone. But there are occasions when you cannot afford to be so soft. Speaking too fast is not even a good habit at all. is something you must overcome if you have that challenge. And sometimes we wander off topic. Wandering off topic is a different thing from telling stories. Sometimes you bring in short stories, anecdotes, in order to get your audience attuned to what you want to say, to focus on what is going to come, to reflect on what you have said before. But wandering off topic means you just lost track. And that is dangerous. In professional circles, they say he's lost it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, is unreliable. You've lost credibility. The next is lack of engagement. If you cannot engage your audience with all of the things that we have said, pause, space, pace, pitch, lowering your pitch, upping your pitch, and things like that, then you would not be able to engage your audience. If you can't tell stories from time to time, not all the time, from time to time, if you don't prepare what we call hooks, statements that says, what? What does that mean? What's he going to say? You say, wow. Those statements are hooks. They engage your audience in what you need to say and what you have to say. Well, there's a tip. Practice and feedback reduce anxiety. If you avoid having anxiety, you can do it by practicing verbal presentation often and getting feedback from people you are speaking to so that you can improve on the areas of your challenge. Structuring your presentation. What is the structure of any presentation at all? All presentations can be broken into 4 or 3. The second one can be broken into 2. That's why I mentioned 4. But basically, 3 parts. The introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And one leads to the other. In your introduction, we often say, prepare a hook, something to hook. You know the fish hook that catches fish in the throat before you fling it and kill it? That's a hook. If in your introduction you give a hook, people are interested in what you want to say. You get them trapped into listening to you. Then you go on and propose the purpose of what you want to say, and you give a short overview. That's all that the introduction consists of. If you are able to prepare a hook, that will lead you to presenting your purpose and then overview of how your presentation is going to go. Then the body. I said the body can be 1, it can be broken into 2. Let's look at the body as 1. and then we can see how we can break it into two. The body consists of your key points. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depends on the nature of the presentation. But you can break it into two. Start with the key points. In this presentation today, I'm going to address 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, without elaborating on anyone at that point. The second part of the body will then be, now to return to number 1. Number 1 is this. This is what it means. This is the way I consider it. I can give you some examples. So go through the exemplification of 1. If there are visuals, present the visuals to corroborate what you are saying, to drive home the very good point that you are making. And then you move on to 2, and then 3, and 4. So by the time you've gone through, you can come back and say, I say we are going to consider 4 things. We have considered the 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those things remain in the head of your audience that you have considered 4. And then you can move on to conclusion. Your conclusion is usually a summary of what you have said. In considering the 4 things, we've looked at the cause and the effect. We've looked at the costs. We've looked at outcomes. Now, how are we going to move through all of these to the outcomes? The outcomes are the bottom line for us. And you follow up with a call to action. How do we get there? It's up to you. In engineering, it's up to you in accounts to come up with bill of quantities. It's up to you, marketers, to get this out there and bring home the bottom line, which in business is what? Money. So that's structuring. Now, delivering with impact. I'll just list those things, many of which I've said before, which you must pay attention to. Vary your voice. Let your voice rise and fall. If you're a man, even from time to time, adopt a feminine pitch. If you're a woman, adopt the baritone of a guy. It's all for emphasis. It's all for engagement. So the tone, the pitch, the pace, all come together to vary your voice. Use gestures purposefully. Don't just throw your hands all over the place. Move your head in all directions. Some people have a habit of using just one hand and always in one particular direction, up and down, or left to right, or right to left. Vary the gestures. So use your gestures purposefully. Pause especially after key points. I've said this before. A pause is not a long stretch of absence where people then begin to think he's trying to get the next point. No, it's a second or two. I said this, the next point is this. That pause gets them back to you. If they were thinking of something in their head, say, oh, you stop talking. So they stop thinking about whatever it is going on in their head. They want to listen to the next one because they want to catch the point. Then emphasize important words. You can place emphasis on the way you pronounce the word. You can emphasize by repeating the words. You can emphasize by stretching the word out. These days, with audiovisual available to everyone, support your presentation with visuals. Visuals are very catchy. In the old days, visuals are for children. They love pictures, not words, not too many words. But we also realize if you have charts, if you have diagrams, things like that, pictures, they catch attention. They illustrate immediately what you need 1,000 words to explain. So that's all of these are important. What are some other audience engagement techniques that we can use? We emphasized the word earlier on, engage. How do you engage? Ask. Ask questions in your presentation. Even if the asking is rhetorical, that is, you are not expecting your audience to provide an answer. Sometimes you may require the audience to provide the answer, but you know the right answer yourself. And when you ask a question, you don't want or you are not really expecting the audience to provide an answer for, that is what we call rhetorical questions. You ask the question, you provide the answer. Show them with visuals. Involve them in tracing from left to right, from top to bottom, going across. Involve them. Let them be a part of it. Those who are likely to fall asleep will wake up. So we encourage you, ask questions. Tell stories. And when I say stories, I'm not talking about long stories, anecdotes, short things. Within a minute, two, you are bringing them back to reality of facts, and use visuals and encourage interaction. You know what pastors do these days in churches? Did I hear somebody say hallelujah? Shake hand with the fellow next to you. All of these are interactions. Is to make sure throughout the sermon they are giving, everybody is listening with rapt attention. You're getting everybody involved. You sing a song within the sermon. You let them twist around. Anybody who is sleepy wakes up. That's all about interaction. In handling question and answer sessions, three things are important. Prepare before, prepare for during, and prepare to handle the session itself. How do you do that? Before, anticipate questions so that you can prepare your responses. We've said before, some people might be waiting for you at the question and answer session. Some people want to do you in. Your boss can want to stretch you to see whether you are really capable and prepare very difficult questions. As a matter of fact, on the topic, there may be issues that have remained unclarified, that have remained controversial. You need to prepare ahead. If those issues crop up during question and answer, you have to have prepared your responses for controversial issues. As a matter of fact, in the presentation, if you anticipated controversial issues, you can address them so that they don't show up in question and answer. But the important thing is anticipate some questions that will be asked. Areas of difficulty for many people. Areas in which you know they want to test whether you really know or you don't know. Prepare your responses ahead. During the question and answer session, listen attentively to what the questions are. Don't assume you can bluff your way through that session. Repeat the question in brief so that you keep it very short and keep your answer very short as well, so you don't get entangled in further controversies. If there are questions that are difficult, that remain controversial, and you don't want to get entangled in them, don't be afraid to say, I'll follow up on that. I'll check up in that area. I'll see what this and that have said or have done to such a question. If you do this, you'll handle the question and answer session masterfully, and that will be the end of your presentation. So what are the takeaways from this module? Verbal communication is more than words. Posture, pitch, tone, pace, pauses. The structure helps you to focus on the message. Engagement builds connection. Practice builds confidence. And we all need all of these to make our verbal presentations successful and effective. Thank you.